It's gone.
You both know what's at stake here.
There isn't much road left.
Take the bloody shot.
At the beginning of the film, James Bond gets essentially some time away from being James Bond. I think he says that it lends some perspective, which is nice. As an actor, how important is that time away from being James Bond? What kind of perspective does it lend for you?
I think you get away from the business as much as you can. I'm very lucky. I work a lot and I get, and that's, wonderful. But you have to get some perspective on life. Because the movie business is as wonderful and as great as it is not real life. It's kind of this sort of you're in the circus and you've got to kind of go and experience a bit of the real world sometimes.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm obviously not on the same level with you, but even doing the junkets, I just have to go out with my buddies sometime.
You got to do it. You got to go and break it and have some real people around you telling you that you ain't as clever as you think you are.
My friends do that a lot.
Yeah, it's good to have good friends.
Exactly, absolutely. Now, obviously, Skyfall is a big deal. It's the 50th anniversary, and over 50 years, there have been a lot of traditions that have worked themselves into the Bond series. Which tradition were you most excited to still kind of hold on to, and which tradition were you glad to be able to get rid of?
It's kind of a complicated one, that, because I felt with Casino that we had to kind of wipe the slate a bit, and not that I didn't like the jokes and the kind of the campiness in the previous Bonds, but I felt like we needed to deserve them. I know it sounds like I'm kind of easy for me to say that I had a master plan, but I kind of had a plan that we had to do that, and then we could begin again. And it really, for me, I'm so happy and proud, and it's down to Sam and the writers and everybody, but there's a lightness of touch in this that we've been able to bring in, which just means that we can joke and they're not gags, they're kind of tension release,
right.
And that really is that kind of, that we take it seriously, but we don't take it that seriously.
Right, the appropriate amount of seriousness.
Yeah, exactly.
I grew up with the other Bond films, and they're getting to a point where it's just kind of ridiculous, and not to say bad things.
They're great in their own way,
right.
But I just wanted to be able to kind of own that myself.
Absolutely. Now, James Bond has a lot of indirect perks of being James Bond. He gets the suits, he gets the women, he gets the cars. As the actor who plays James Bond, what is the best indirect perk that you get?
God, there's many. I get a huge benefits about playing this part, and I love doing it. I mean, there aren't that many opportunities to make movies of this size. Never mind movies of this size that are Bond movies. I mean, that's obviously a very rare thing to do. And I just count myself very lucky. It's a really good gig.
Absolutely, I'm sure. No, but one of the reasons I love this movie so much is it's the first time we've ever seen James Bond. I think they call it lose a step, where he's not on his game, not quite. Has there ever been a moment in your career where you thought, like, I'm losing a step a little bit?
Yeah, so many times.
Oh, yeah?
Countless times. It's always happening. It's a rocky road. Life is a rocky road, and careers are, no one has it's never you're never always going up. You kind of, it's ups and downs, and that's the way life is. And I think, with the Bond character, I've always gone back to the Flemings, and they're very, he's very conflicted in those books, and I love that. But, it's a weird job to do. I mean, he's an assassin.
Absolutely.
Let's not forget that.
Absolutely. Well, you capture it perfectly, and like I said, this is my favorite Bond of all time. Always an honor to talk to you, my friend. Take care. Good to see you, sir.
I want to meet your employer.
How much do you know about fear?
All there is.
Not like this. Not like him.
Just look at you, chasing spies. England, MI6. She sent you after me knowing you're not ready, knowing you would likely die. Mommy was very bad. The two survivors, this is what she made us. Everybody needs a hobby. So what's yours? Resurrection.
I feel like, as an actor, you are someone who a lot of people look at as someone who plays villains. But if I have done my count right, since you started in '88, you've played three, right?
Yeah.
Why do you think people look at you as a villain?
Because I guess the villain that I play, or the bad guy, or whatever the name is, in No Country for Old Men has had a lot of exposition out there. So that remains in people's memory because a lot of people watch that movie. But yes, in 25 years that I've been working, this is the third one.
Right.
So
Do you like to remind people, like, I've only done it 3 times?
No, I don't need people to be reminded that. I mean, people that are interested will know, and people that are not interested, they won't care,
Right.
which is okay. People, I'm sure they have many other more interesting things to think about.
Not me, my friend.
Okay.
I'm all you right now. But, I was reading a lot of interviews with a lot of actors who've played Bond villains over the years, and they're always asked, did you study other Bond villains? And the answer is always no.
Yeah.
If the answer is no for you, why do you think it's detrimental to study other Bond villains?
Well, I guess you don't want to get stuck in somebody else's idea of how to approach a character, and because you are in the longest franchise ever in movie history, of course you have many opportunities to go back and see what other great actors have done, but you want to put yourself away from it, because otherwise you are going to be influenced by some other people's options. But it's always about the material, what is written and what you can do with it, and in this case the material was pretty good, and Sam Mendes gave me great ideas, so you don't need to really go back and steal anything from anybody else.
Exactly, and without getting too much into spoilers, because I don't want to ruin it for people, your character is the way he is because his company did something to him.
Yeah.
His business made him that way.
Yeah.
Being an actor, being in Hollywood, what is the worst thing that Hollywood's done to you?
Oh, wow. I don't know what Hollywood is, actually. Hollywood is a sign on the
Right, yeah,
mountain.
that's true.
Nothing. I mean, I don't know. I've been very lucky. I've been very privileged in order to work with great people out of Spain, in Spain. So far, I consider myself very lucky, tremendously lucky. So I will touch wood
Right,
for
exactly.
it to keep on happening.
Excellent. We'll take and right there with you, man. As an audience member, we're right there with you. I know that as a kid, the first one you ever saw was Moonraker when you were 10,
Yeah.
11 years old.
Yeah.
And a lot of kids growing up want to be James Bond. If you could go back and talk to yourself as 10 or 11 years old in that theater and say, okay, you're not going to be James Bond, but you're going to try to kill James Bond, what do you think he would have said?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. I will say, really? I know I want to be the one, the cool one.
Right.
But it's fun to play the villain. It's fun. It's because it's always in this land of between reality and fiction. So there's more freedom, I guess, for an actor to play a villain, which is a genre in itself. A Bond villain is a genre in itself, rather than James Bond himself, because James Bond has certain rules that you have to follow. When the villain is more open to what they may come. No.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're looking at the wrap, Mr. Bardem. It's always an honor to get to sit across from you.
Thank you.
That was a good interview. Thank you.
What do you say about a man like that?
3 months ago, you lost the drive containing the identity of every agent embedded in terrorist organizations across the globe.
007 reporting for duty.
Where the hell have you been?
Enjoying death.
I only have one question. Why not stay dead? There's no shame in saying you've lost a step.
But obviously, this is your 7th time playing this character, so you've now tied Roger Moore in terms of the most appearances in the Bond series.
Oh, is that right?
That's right.
Oh.
So congratulations on that,
Thank
by the
you.
way. So at this point, you have to know the character so well. Whenever you get the script, do you ever read stuff and go, no, she wouldn't do that, or oh, I don't know if she would say that?
No, because, you make up however little, if you have one scene behind a desk, then you've made a backstory for that person so that you know about her marriage and about her children and about the house she lives in and everything. The only time I've ever been surprised was when I was in a bathroom in my bathroom in Casino, and the bath was in the middle of the room. I thought, gracious, much too late to say anything about it. And I thought, oh, that I hadn't fed into this subconscious life of M. But then you because it evolves. I mean, I don't know whether because it's evolved over the years, the script writers have taken what's evolved and mixed it up with them, and then subsequently something quite organic comes out of it. But lots of new things to learn in this film, which
Of course,
was
yeah.
exciting.
And speaking of backstory and new things to learn, we learn a lot about your backstory a little bit. And as someone, like I said, who you spent so much time with this character, do you kind of have ideas of maybe who she was before Bond ever came into the picture? Even though we may not ever know the story on camera, have you fleshed out her life?
Only very slightly. Mm-hmm. Only very, very slightly. It'll never come up, but I had to do that for the first one.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. That's interesting. You have a great line that really stuck with me for some reason, which is regret is unprofessional, which I just thought was a great line. Does that carry over into this business at all?
Well, to a certain extent, yes, because there's no point in. I mean, you can have regrets that you didn't do something afterwards, but in actual fact, once it's done a part, and if you have regrets about it, it's too late anyway. So perhaps it's a waste of time, regret.
Is it hard to learn to not regret stuff, just to kind of let it go, or is it just something you have to remind yourself?
I think sometimes it is, yes. And I think there's some big mistakes you might make that you suddenly think, I wish I hadn't done that, and you may dwell on that for a bit. But I think it's a waste of time in a way, regret, because it's past.
I'm sure. See, I'm still trying to learn that. So still working on that myself. You're one of the few actresses who's been able to work with two different Bonds. A lot of people kind of stick to one Bond or another. What's the biggest difference between working with Pierce and Daniel?
The biggest difference is that they're both very different kinds of actors. But the wonderful thing is that both of them are slightly kind of self-deprecating, and both of them have great senses of humour. And it's essential with James Bond, that. Essential. I mean, I don't know how you... the responsibility of playing James Bond, I mean, what it does to your character, to you as a person, I suppose you were always known as the person who played James Bond. Always, whatever you do. And both Pierce and Daniel have both done lots and lots of other films, but ultimately I expect they will be known as James Bond.
They're giving the rap. I could talk to you all day. It's always such a pleasure to sit across from you. Thank you so much for your time. Congratulations.
Thank you, and I'm glad you liked it so much.
Loved it.
I'm really pleased.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to see you. Take care.
Thanks so much.
They weren't targeting her. They wanted her to see it.
Welcome to the new MI6.
I'm your quartermaster.
You must be joking.
Author PPKS 9mm short. It's been coded to your palm print, so only you can fire it. Less of a random killing machine, more of a personal statement.
Q.
007.
There's a great moment in the movie that you're in where James Bond is in the middle of all the action, and you're told to explain what's going on, and you have to say, it's actually very difficult to explain right now. What is the most difficult thing to explain about being a Bond girl?
It's the weight of the expectations. You don't realize it until you're actually offered the role, that actually people have lots of preconceived ideas about what a Bond girl or a Bond woman should be, and that weight is quite hefty, really. So living with that is quite difficult. And actually, one of the ways that you become successful, I think, is by letting that go, shifting it, just throwing it away and thinking, I'm going to make it my own. But that's quite hard to do.
I'm sure. Now, my entire life, I've always wanted to be James Bond. And I took a photo downstairs I was going to show you ladies and see if I could get the approval from you two, and then you guys, kind of what tips I need to kind of fulfill my James Bond legacy. So that's the photo.
Oh, not bad.
That's
right?
really good, right?
Yeah, not bad.
And I like the raised eyebrows.
That's what I was going. Yeah,
That's
right?
not bad too. But the best advice, I think, Naomi, and I can tell you, is to get naked right now and have this beautiful blue underwear. No, and we'll just
wait. Just to clarify,
you
what you're telling me
Yeah.
is to get naked right now.
Right now.
With a little blue bathing suit.
Well, I always wear a little blue bathing
And
suit.
we'll bring some. Really?
Right.
Nice.
And we'll throw our glasses of water on you.
No
as well,
problem.
to
We will help
make it
you.
seem like you're coming out of the sea.
Feel
This
at home. Feel at home. No
Is the
problem.
best interview of all time. I'm getting very excited. I have other questions. I don't even know what to ask. But you were talking about expectations, and I feel like over a span of 50 years, it is easy for cliches to work themselves into characters. What were kind of Bond-like cliches that you were anxious to break away from?
What I think is very interesting when you get to play a Bond girl or any character in a Bond movie is that you can have a lot of fun playing with those cliches, that are the reason why those movies last for so long. And then you can just have also fun inventing a complete new character, a unique character. But the mix of all that is very interesting. So personally, I loved playing with those cliches.
Yeah, I think so. I think that the cliches are like the confines within which you have to work with. As I said, there are certain things that people expect. And so, you play with them and then you make them your own. That's part of the fun.
Now, I think in another 50 years, a lot of girls are going to look at the characters you play. It's like, wow, I wish I could have played those girls. who are some of the past Bond girls you wish you could have maybe tried out and maybe done that performance and tried those out?
Grace Jones, for sure. She was
That's a
amazing.
good one.
I just want to wear her outfits largely, though. She was just had amazing outfits.
Me too. I'm right there with you. Right. Anyone in particular?
I love Trenke Johnson because I admire in general this freedom that actor or actresses are not afraid to take, and this ability to take risks and create something unconventional. And she was so funny killing those people and having orgasm while killing them. It was an amazing choice.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I could talk to you ladies all day. It was such a pleasure. I'll come back in the bathing
No
suit next
problem.
time.
Wait
and
for
then
you.
we'll all be together.
Fantastic.
Excellent.